Welcome back to Life, Biz, and All That Jazz. I'm your host, Jasmine Lisciotto. In today's episode, it's all about creating work that truly works for you, whether it's starting your own business, growing one, or navigating a career that aligns with your strengths and values. Here's the truth. If you're stuck in a job or a routine that really drains you, it's hard for you to thrive. You can't grow and succeed in a career or your business if you're stuck and you're not doing anything to shift that mindset. But when you find something that excites you, whether it's building your own business or thriving in your career, it really changes everything. You're going to show up with more energy and you are just going to be more motivated to learn, to grow, and to become the best version of you. So today, we're going to map out some steps that you can take to help you figure out where you are right now, where you want to go, and how to create a path that supports your strengths, passions, and your mental health, which is the most important thing with everything that I talk about. Let's start with a little story. So when I first entered the workplace, I didn't want to go to uni straight away from school. So I had a really good job where I worked in an office and I did admin work. I did that for a few years and I kind of learned everything, and it got to a point where I was really feeling stuck, and then that's when I'd get bored, and that's around the 2-year mark. Then I ended up working for another company, but because the commute was so long to Sydney from the Central Coast in New South Wales, I'd really come home feeling drained, frustrated, and question what I was kind of like even doing with my life. So it just wasn't working for me. Then after I went to uni, I also worked long hours and I did build a really good career, but again, it just wasn't helping with my strengths. I felt like I was in a cage and I just felt like I wasn't pursuing anything that was really meaningful. But when I started my own business, everything shifted. And even on the hardest days, I felt a sense of purpose because I'm creating something that's truly aligned with my vision. And let me tell you, this all makes a difference. I don't think I would have been able to stop drinking if I didn't have my own business and wasn't able to cater my days and my routine around my business. Here's a few things that I've learned. If you're stuck in work that doesn't align with who you are, it's going to be really easy to feel burnt out, to feel bored, and to feel like you need to numb or constantly mask to fit in. When you find something that works for you, it fuels your spark rather than draining you. I've got a little task that you can complete to really reflect on where you are right now. Because before you can map out where you're going, we need to understand where you are. So just take a little moment to reflect. Are you happy in your current work situation? This can be whether it's with your career, you're working for somebody else, or with your business. So this applies to both. You just need to adjust it. Does your job or business align with your values and your strengths? Question 3, what's draining you? Is the work itself draining, the environment, or the lack of growth opportunities? You've got the questions, grab a notebook, open up a document on your laptop, and write down the answers. There's no right or wrong answers with this. You just got to brain dump. And this is a reflection on the first step to figuring out what needs to change. So let's go back to story time. About 12 months into first starting my business, I realized I was spending time on tasks and client work that didn't align with my strengths. I really love creating and brainstorming, but some admin tasks, repetitive tasks just leave me feeling stuck and I'm just not for it. So this awareness at the start of having my business allowed me to kind of sit back, adjust my services to see where I wanted to learn more and what was going to work for me. A lot of automation and focusing on areas that I could delegate or automate really helped as well to allow me to put all my energy into the task that I was best at. And today's task number 2 for you is to map out your options. So now that you've reflected on where you are, it's time to explore where you could go. Whether this is in a job or running your own business again, I want you to ask yourself, number 1, if I could create my ideal workday, what would it look like? Number 2, what kind of work makes me lose track of time because I enjoy it so much? Number 3, what skills or passions do I want to develop further? For those of you that are in jobs, think about career change, additional training, or even a side hustle that could bring you closer to your ideal work that you can then shift from your current career to your new business or even a new position with the training or leveling up your education. For my business owners, consider whether you're focusing on the right areas of your business. Are there certain tasks that you can delegate or areas that need to be pivoted and changed? Another little task you can add on to this is to make a chart which is in 3 columns. You can write down what I love, what drains me, and what I want more of. So use this as a guide to figure out what's working and what needs to change. And the biggest thing about this is nothing's going to happen if there isn't consistent action. And this doesn't need to be big action. It doesn't need to be big changes that happen overnight, but it does need to happen slowly. And when you take small, consistent steps, that's when you'll notice the shifts. At the start, you might not notice the shifts because they're going to be small, but eventually you'll look back and you'll see how far you've come. If you're looking at changing your career, the best thing to start with is update your resume. Have a look on your resume and make sure that what you've got on your resume aligns with roles that you want to apply for, or even just have a look at positions that you like that interest you and see what their criteria is. What do you need to add to your resume? What strengths? What do you need to learn? Where do you need to up level to be able to have your resume can match the description of your dream job? For my business owners, identify one area you can improve this week. Maybe it's streamlining your workflows. Maybe it's reaching out to a potential client to see if you can change something, or dedicating time to a new skill that you've really wanted to develop and know that it's going to allow you to shift what you're currently doing in your current services and your offerings to something closer to what you really want to do. When I first started my business, was far from having anything worked out, and I'm still learning to this day. I think that's so exciting that it's going to be a lifelong learning journey because I'm always wanting to up-level my skills. I'm doing courses on content creation, editing, mindset. Now I'm going to be doing more on neuroscience, where that's going to help with my business, but then also it's going to help with this podcast because this is my passion. And my business, although, it's in marketing, consulting, and strategy, I allow it to support me to pay my bills, but also support my lifestyle and my mental health. I think the biggest thing is to know that you need to listen and feel inspired by people that have done the work, gone through the business journeys, and I've seen them in their journeys over the years, have been the ones that's really inspired me to know that, it does happen. You just need to have the small steps, surround yourself with people that are cheering you on, and surround yourself with people that are honest and relatable, and don't talk any BS. Because it's really hard with businesses right now in general to start a business, or it's even really hard to make your way up in a company, with a lot of companies having to do a lot of budget cuts, have less people working. Most of the people that I know that do work for companies have a really big workload, and it's only getting bigger and bigger. And again, that's the same as businesses. I find that people don't want to pay much for services these days, and they are shopping around. There is a lot of competition, but you really need to hold on to your strengths and your values and know that what you're doing is making a difference. And if you lead with purpose and honesty and authenticity, your business will be successful. A big thing for me is obviously knowing that I have invested money in courses and mentors and stuff, and I don't think it was the right decision. I think I did make an impulsive decision. People will take advantage of you for that. So I think the best advice I can give you when it comes to learning and education is go with the people that give out a lot of really good free advice, because then when you do invest in them, you won't be disappointed. And I guess it really comes down to committing to yourself to show up daily. Even if you don't feel like it, it's a struggle, you just have to have the small hope that you can do it. If you don't get everything done that you want to get done in your day, don't put the pressure on yourself. Know that it's always tomorrow, but at least if you get one thing off your list done when it comes to learning something for your current career, or, moving closer to starting your business, or moving closer to leveling up your business. It's those small steps that really will eventually add up. And that's what's brought me to where I am today. And that's why I just share this with so much passion and excitement, because I know it might seem hard and out of reach right now, but you can change your career, you can change and start a business, you can do it all. It just takes time, and it takes determination and consistency. I think another thing that's important, and this is if you're in a job or running your business is having a really strong support system. It just makes everything so much easier. And this you want from people, but you also want it from your systems when it comes to your business. You want to know that you've got things running in the background and you're feeling organized, and this helps reduce any decision making fatigue. Having a daily schedule is another really big, important system. So this allows me to work in blocks, have breaks, and really balance my self care. Helps me stay focused and reduces overwhelm. Having people around you that are in business or, understand the hustle of having to work hard, understand what it's like to have to work and study. There's so many people that you probably have around you that you just don't really know because you've never really talked to them about, starting a business around your career, leveling up your career. You don't know what's around you until you start having the conversations. And more than likely, when you talk to somebody about your ideas, they're going to relate or they're going to get excited for you and support you on your decision. Finally, remember to celebrate your wins. If you're doing a course, if you've got a promotion, if you're one step closer to creating that life for yourself and you're showing up for yourself every day, just take the moment to acknowledge how far you've come and really stay open to possibilities, because sometimes the path you're on will evolve eventually without you having to do much work and like you never expected it to be. You need to trust the process and give yourself grace to grow. When I look back on my journey, it was never smooth. It still isn't smooth. It's still chaotic. There's still days where I think I still get overwhelmed. I still have my bad days, but then I have to just sit back and know that it's going to get better. And it's not easy to think that way because it's taken me years to have that process in my brain, but I still love every single day. Nothing worth having comes easy, and challenges are always going to be growth. The key is to always keep going and just really remember your why and why you started. And that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope it inspires you and reflects on your work and exploring new possibilities, and take meaningful steps towards creating a life and a career that aligns with who you are. I'd love it if you'd leave a review or hit subscribe if you haven't already. And next week's episode is going to be about reflecting and starting the new year with purpose. So until next time, remember, success isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about finding what works for you and the small, consistent steps every day.